I don't know if I'd say I'd been vibing with it, but it's been everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Every time I open my bloody TikTok, there's a cult that are trying to recruit people on TikTok.
I had not heard of this.
Have you not seen?
No.
Why is it on my For You page and not yours? Like, we have the same For You page.
I imagine it's that you spent much of last week looking at cults, and the cookies in your computer went, you know what you should have? More cults. You should join one. Join one.
Oh no, this one is not good. Well, mainly, I'm not on cult TikTok. I'm on people slandering the cult.
Which makes sense.
And that's just been my For You page. So there's this cult in America, and there's this ginger guy who's called like Tree is Alive or something, and he's walking around and he's like, look at this person stirring a bucket of water, like, come and join, come to the library. And everyone's like, you look like an anti-masky kind of vibe. Yeah. You're trying to recruit people, you're saying anybody can come in, which is wrong, because then you could have like rapists and evil people turn up, and there's no like vetting policy. There's one member who is very prolific, weirdly on Facebook, but now she has TikTok as well. Like, she's like Facebook posts like their tweets, and they're all very much like, Jesus is coming, and she killed a cat and skinned it and made it into a hat.
Did you see the hat?
You did see the hat, and it was just kind of... No.
Oh. I was like, oh, if you're gonna do it, like, at least make it a nice cat. Like, I don't agree with it, but like, if you know, like Cruella de Vil, like, she was gonna kill all those puppies, and I didn't agree with it, but at least she was gonna come out with like a nice fur coat, and I'm not condoning it, but if you're gonna do it, at least do it well, you know?
Yeah, so everyone's kind of... There's great creators out there who are working really hard. They're doing like several part series on all the like dodgy people that are turning up, and looking at... There's a guy that's got a history of domestic abuse because they found him on Facebook, and then you can find their name and it's all in public record. If you're thinking about it, if you've seen it, don't go.
Could we like maybe link some of the TikTokers who have like spoken a lot? I'll link them in the description down below, guys, so you can check them out and support them in taking down the beginnings of a worrying cult, please.
So that's... And, I mean, the only other thing that kind of cropped up for me, there's stuff going on with David Dobrik, but, like, I'm honestly not that bothered about it. It's, like, serious sexual assault stuff is
really? Why have I seen none of this? What?
Well, I think it came out maybe yesterday. One of the ex-members of the Vlog Squad, that's what they're called, has come out and said that in some of the pranks they did, he was told that he was going to kiss Karina, one of the girls in the Vlog Squad, and then he consented to that, but he didn't consent when they switched Karina out for David Nash.
Jason Nash.
Who's David Nash?
David Nash is a mixture of David Dobrik and Jason Nash. And at that point I was like, who does she mean? But I just assumed that it would be Jason Nash, you know,
it was Jason Nash,
the middle-aged man that hung out with them and definitely wasn't sketchy.
So yeah, it was so weird. So one of Scotty Sires come out and has tried to discredit... I'm really sorry, I can't remember his name. The other guy. Like, they're all periphery at this point, aren't they? Like, I don't know who any of these people are. But it's a serious allegation. Yeah. And Scotty Sires basically coming out, instead of David coming out and making a video saying, that look at these screenshots of a conversation from 2 years ago where he said he was fine with the kissing pranks, but because they did another one afterwards. So they're like, well, he consented to that, and he was like, oh, I just want all the clout. I will do, I'm totally up for doing another one. But they've also had like racist things that they've done with this guy, and it's like, you're not addressing like the first issue. You're not addressing the fact that he's going, I feel like I was assaulted. And then they're just like, yeah, but you said you were fine with it afterwards, and you just wanted to do it for the clout. And it's like, that's
I think your response has to be like, okay, maybe that's what he said, but it was over text, right? It was over a message. Yeah. So you can't really get their full emotion through that. And also, we don't know if in person maybe he'd been, like, questioning it and stuff like that. So if he's now saying that he actually was uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
You have to take responsibility and say, and just apologise. I think that's the only way forward. The more you put it off and don't apologise and just accuse them back, that doesn't look good. Just, if someone is upset, apologise. Unless you can fully say that you did not do anything wrong. You have, like, not just text messages, I don't know.
And also, don't get one of your minions to just come out and apologise on your behalf. Like, it should be David and Jason Nash that are coming out and being like, this was wrong, we hear you, we, respect what you're saying, and we're sorry for orchestrating. But, like, I can imagine that thing happens and you find out and you feel like, this is gross, I feel violated. But because they're so laddie and they're all, like, egging each other on, and it's a whole vibe of them, it's like...
It supports what we discussed last week, and that YouTube really has a duty of care and should be doing something. I really think they should be putting on, like, seminars or something like that these people can access, because Jason Nash is old enough to know better. And I'm not supporting anyone by saying I'm not saying they were too young to know better, but
no.
David Dobrik was quite young and grew up doing this sort of thing and was praised for doing it. There was people saying, that's great. What he really needed was someone on the platform, or like a YouTube, to take, like, control, do a sort of seminar-y thing and say, this is what is not acceptable, to really just drill that in. And I think they just really need to do something with that. I don't know what they can do. This is why I'm not, like, CEO of YouTube, but...
You should be.
I know. I should at least give them some advice. Like, you just need to... Because I honestly think these are people that... They, like, some of them don't even finish high school because they get all this big fame on YouTube, and then they just stop education. And I'm not saying that going to university is vital. It's not, obviously.
No.
But sometimes you need it to kind of learn
Grow
these
up,
things. Yeah, to
learn who you are by yourself.
Like, a lot of people probably learn more about consent and stuff at university. Some people really don't. But, well, I guess, that's another conversation.
I mean, I only read about it this morning, so I'm sure it's going to unfold further. And the other thing, I know I was like, I'm sick and tired of the royals. I'm still sick and tired of the royals. But I will say, Meghan Markle's treatment is so racist. Like, the press, the British press, and they've got all these right-wing pundits on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan going, oh, she should get that, she's a bully. Oh, so you're going to open up an investigation into the alleged bullying that Meghan Markle did with some of the staff members, but not for Prince Andrew, who's literally friends with a paedophile.
It makes no sense. I mean, me and Holly have said several times, we do not care, and I want to drill that down, we don't care. Like,
it's just been shoved down our throats at this point. Like, you can't... every time you look at the news, it's there.
If Meghan Markle had just left and was doing this Oprah interview and there was none of the context behind it, I would be like, well, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to watch it. And that's how I feel now. I'm not going to watch it, and I don't care because I have no interest in the royals. And that's fine. No. Like, I just don't care, and I would not touch it. But, like, why can't they have that attitude? If you don't like her, fine. But just don't watch the stuff. If she's saying she's been treated badly and wanted to move away because of that and distance herself, accept that. Like, she's literally done what you wanted to do. She's left. She's gone. What? She's not harming you in any way. So leave her alone.
Well, she's bringing attention to the... Like, she's talking about them. She's talking about her treatment. But that's her right. This is how they've treated her. The monarchy that we're supposed to look up to and go, oh, but at least the Queen's here. The Queen's been here for so many years. She's overseen it all. She's seen the wars. And yet you're like, okay, well, when she goes, they should all go. I know I was like, if you're going to have it, keep one of them. But no, they should all... The end is nigh. Like, you need to stop now.
Yeah, I mean, we think that. I think a lot of people probably are sat there still watching the Queen's speech on Christmas Day. There is a lot of people who... a big-time royalist, and fine.
Yeah, it's like, if that's how you've been brought up, then, yeah.
Yeah, and it brings us a lot of money in tourism. I get that. There is, like, benefits to it. But when, like, at this point, there is a full-on, like, okay, I didn't want to get sued. There is an alleged paedophile who's just being accepted by them.
And a rapist. And a child rapist.
Yeah.
Like,
But this, just by the way, we are saying this alleged, but please do not
But we
sue
do
us.
believe women.
Yes, it's my personal belief that the women would be telling the truth, obviously. But yes, please don't sue us. We believe the women is what we're saying, but don't sue us. Okay, week
sorry, this was like dark.
Chloe, shut up. I have a couple of small ones, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't know if you've seen much about this show on Netflix called Ginny and Georgia.
I've heard people talking about it, but I don't know what's going on with it, so I'm...
Well, there is a couple of things, like, the sort of small accusations of just bad writing. I mean, from what I'd seen, it was similar standard of writing to Emily in Paris. I don't think we were getting anything new, revolutionary. Very much had the feeling of, like, we think we're very woke, but we aren't really saying anything new. But I haven't seen it, so I can't really make a judgment on that. However, our good friend Lydia alerted me to something this week and asked if we would talk about it on the podcast. And I had to, because it aggravated me so much. Because on the show, they made a joke that when you go through men faster than Taylor Swift, I don't care how you feel about Taylor Swift, you have to recognise that is just some sort of sexist joke about going through men and targeting a woman. But that's... by the by, I'll read to you what Taylor Swift said on the whole thing. She tweeted, "Hey Ginny and Georgia, 2010 called and it wants its lazy, deeply sexist joke back. How about we stop degrading hardworking women by defining this horse shit as funny? Also, at Netflix, after Miss Americana, this outfit doesn't look cute on you. Happy Women's History Month, I guess." So I have to say, when I read this, I fully agreed with her. Just one, to begin with, how lazy that writing is, how lazily written that joke is. It's been told over and over again. If you need to say something controversial, just come up with your own joke at least. Like, it's so lazy. And it's a joke that was repeated and repeated about 10 years ago by so many people. And you brought it back now.
It's weird.
You used that. It's weird. Like, you could have come up with a more modern reference if you really want. Like, if there was some sort of argument they had to say, our character, we want them to say something controversial because we think they're a controversial character. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know if this is the case, but I doubt it. But if it was, and they wanted a character to say something controversial, could they not have at least come up with something that was more like of a modern reference than Taylor Swift, who's been in a happy relationship for the past however long, couple of years? And also, they've implied that she was like, you know, not that either of these are bad, I'm not saying any of this is bad, but they sort of have it in their head that Taylor Swift was like the height of like going out and sleeping with a different man every night, when what she did was have like sort of long-term relationships with like a handful of men. You have to recognise that is a poorly written joke that's deeply sexist, and also kind of shows the sort of shows that Netflix is producing at the minute. Because
yes, I was just thinking that. Do you know what it is? And it's the same kind of criticism with is it the Wix? And then the writing is shockingly bad, that it's full of these middle-aged people who are like, it's a teen show. How do we engage teens? Oh, I remember that one thing, that really old joke when I was in my middle of my 20s, where everyone was like, oh, Taylor Swift goes through all the men. She's a man-eater. She just goes through them like they're nothing. And they're like, oh, that's relevant. They know Taylor Swift. She's still around. And it's like, no, have you talked to a young person?
Exactly.
Like,
it's such lazy writing. But like you say, it's just so typical of Netflix at the minute. I do think, however you feel about Taylor Swift or not, this is clearly wrong, but if you're a big Taylor fan and you think that the right thing to do is go hate on the actors, please don't. That's not the right thing to do. That doesn't make you
they didn't write the
show.
Than
the writers of the show. That makes you just as bad, if not probably worse, actually definitely worse. The next one is personal, and it involves Alec Baldwin. So you might be familiar with Alec and his wife Hilaria Baldwin and all their drama in it. Hilaria. And the fact that, you know, there was... was she Spanish? Was she not Spanish? And then it basically turned out she was not Spanish and she was pretending to be Spanish.
It's so weird.
There's
It's
a whole...
so
if you
weird.
want us to... I know. If you want us to go in depth into it, let us know, because I'm more than happy to. Because it's so weird. But anyway, that's not really... This isn't regarding that. Basically, Hilaria and Alec have 5 children together already. And they makes me laugh. They've all got very Spanish names, and they're between the ages of 6 months and 7 years old. Bear in mind, Alec is 62.
Oh my god.
And has just got a 6-month-old. So just that's personal, not really my business.
I don't like that. It's also
don't
I was
either.
just thinking this. Is Hailey Baldwin, Justin Bieber's wife, is that his child?
No, that's his niece.
Okay. Oh,
His
they are related.
His child is called Island, I think, and she is the daughter of Kim Basinger, however you say her name, who is the like paedophile in 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh
movies.
my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a whole other bit of drama with how Alec treated Island, his child, but we won't get into that. So, they have these 5 children, very young. Like I said, the youngest one is 6 months old. However, what news did I learn the other day? They've just had another baby.
What?
But how is that possible when the youngest is 6 months old? So this was announced. No context, just that they had this other baby, and I was so confused. Okay, it turns out they had a surrogate, obviously. That you just had to use your brain to guess that. But that means that while she was still pregnant with the child she was about to have, they organised with a surrogate to have another child.
I don't like that.
No, why? I mean, this is personal. It's not really my business and they can do what they want, but does that not just seem a bit weird? Like, you already had 5 children. It's not like they were struggling to have children and stuff like that. So, why the need? And then they showed a picture of all their children together, and it's so weird to me because there's just this big baby, then small baby. But it's weird. It looks like they gave birth to twins, but one was just really large.
6 months apart.
And one was tiny. It's weird. That is personal, because I know some people would be just like, oh, it's not your business, and I get that. But does that not just strike you as weird? Like, why did they decide they needed another child while she was pregnant with a child?
I don't know.
No. And they already had 4 others at that point anyway.
Maybe the only thing that I can think, which is actually quite sad, is if she was originally pregnant with twins, and then they lost one of the twins.
Maybe. Yeah.
But, like, any other reason doesn't seem to be logical.
No.
Don't you think it'd be weird to be a surrogate of a celebrity's baby?
Yes.
Don't you feel it feels a bit like human cattle? Like, you're just...
I think that about, like, Kim Kardashian's surrogate, who was like, I feel kind of bad about this situation because she was just doing her job and doing something which she wanted to do, and people who are surrogates, I don't really understand how you do it, but like, I guess if it's
what you want, then go for it.
But then they, like, leaked her information and stuff like that, and they were trying
to...
she was hidden, they didn't know who she was, that was what they were trying to do, keep her hidden. Like, obviously they were open about they had a surrogate, but they didn't want people knowing about this girl's life, and then it was leaked, which is so unfair. Anyway, that is not the topic. One final thing. This is just me praising Jonah Hill because he this week
I did see this.
Have you seen this? This is so good. He posted a Daily Mail article about himself on Instagram this week, and the article had pictures of him surfing, just minding his own business, and it was titled, the weirdest title ever, so long, but very Daily Mail. Jonah Hill slips into his black wetsuit for surf day in Malibu, ... before showing off his tattoos while getting shirtless to tell himself off. Which, I feel like that whole title could just be condensed to Jonah Hill just surfs. Like, he did, like, what was the point in all that information? Anyway, this is what he said about it, because I'm not going to paraphrase, because I thought this was, like, a perfect caption. I don't think I ever took my shirt off in a pool until I was in my mid-30s, even in front of my family and friends. Probably would have happened sooner if my childhood insecurities weren't exacerbated by years of public mockery about my body by press and interviewers. So the idea that the media tries to play me by stalking me while surfing and printing photos like this, and it can't faze me anymore, is dope. I'm 37 and finally love and accept myself. This isn't a good for me post, and it's definitely not a feel bad for me post. It's for the kids who don't take their shirt off at the pool. Have fun, you're wonderful and awesome and perfect.
All my love. Oh, and Daily Mail, not even you can take that smile from my face.
Oh, it's just a wonderful caption, and I'm so glad that he feels better, and I'm happy that he's sharing that sort of feeling and encouraging younger children to feel that as well, so that they don't have to have the same insecurities that he had growing up and into adulthood. And if you don't believe what he's saying about, like, the way that the public mocked him and interviews mocked him, I'm gonna link a video with this I saw a couple of years ago, which is called something like Jonah Hill Hurt, and it's a bit annoying because they're playing Johnny Cash over it, which is weird. But it's all these examples of interviewers saying, like, questioning him about his weight, and, like, if he thinks he'd be funny if he wasn't fat, and, like, questioning his, like, if he's a serious actor and stuff like that, and you can see how upset he is. And he even says in some of them, like, have you got any other questions and stuff like that, and I just, full sympathy to him, and I'm very glad that he, through all that horrible stuff, has learned to love himself, and well done him. I think this is great.